Welcome to the show where I talk about whatever the fuck I want. I'm Alia, it's nice to meet you. And today I thought it would be a good time to actually reflect because for the past 2 years I haven't had a vacation, and being on holiday is taking a little bit of me like getting used to it, of course. But at the same time, so much has happened. And next month, I'll finally be able to unironically sing 22 by Taylor Swift. I have been waiting for this for years, thank you. But I really wanted to take a moment to reflect because there are so many things that have happened over the past 2 years. Obviously, it's 2 years, and it's freaking me out a bit because it has led to a point where now I am not only more creative on a personal level, but I'm able to actually finish a bunch of the stuff that I want to make. And I have a much clearer vision, which is really nice to have, by the way. At the same time, I have a lot more faith in God and the universe and all that wonderful stuff. And that came out of like a lot of trial and error, the same way I think a lot of life works. But it's interesting because I never thought I would be in this position like a year ago, 5 years ago, if I'm being honest with you. I was very much like, oh, you know what? It's done. Life is done. And honestly, I thought that for a while. And, coming out of working really hard too, by the way, to get out of depression and making it through to the other side, celebrating a birthday I didn't think I would get to is quite monumental for me, if I'm being honest with you. And I want to talk about why. I'm talking about God and I'm talking about faith, and I've touched on it a little bit in the newsletter that I have. But I'm not gonna focus on that for now. I want to talk about the things that actually got me through, that actually made me inspired to do something about it. And a lot of that ties back to media. And when I talk about media, I'm not just talking about movies, film, and television and all that stuff. I'm talking about books. I'm talking about YouTube specifically as well, because I grew up watching and loving YouTube because not only was it such an accessible space, I found some of my favorite artists, creators, and it's genuinely one of those spaces that is very precious to me because I've seen it go from what it was to what it is now, which is why it means so much to me. But I will say now that it's much more commercial and there's a lot more marketing to it or whatever. It's very commercial now, which is kind of sad but not really, because I'll always find in little pockets some artists and creators that I really do love and fall in love with because they just pop up on my recommended. And that's why I love YouTube, because that exists here no matter what. And it's going to always exist no matter how big or small. And at the beginning, that's what it was. It was like this big thing of just people making stuff that they love. And at the heart of all of this, really, is I feel this sense of just appreciation and gratitude, which is the same thing, but really appreciation and gratitude and respect for the people that take the time to make something. And, when it shows up on film and general media or the more mainstream media, you see it and it's like lightning striking twice over and over again. Like, for example, recently with Sinners, that movie has had me in a chokehold for the past, I don't know how long, but it has. And I have literally been just in a state of, oh my God, I am so excited to create in this era of stuff. And I'm so glad I get to learn from people who are so passionate about what they do, because now that's actually being appreciated. And we could talk about the political situations, I suppose, that have led to that increase in people wanting authenticity in art. And depth in art. And I feel like we're just scratching the surface, if I'm being honest with you, because there is so much. There are so many creative people out there, and I literally cannot wait to see what this era brings. Genuinely, I cannot. It is very exciting for me. But when I going back to the main point of this, when I talk about media and its importance, I'm talking about the fact that on a lot of hard days, which this is unironic, right? On a lot of hard days, the things that got me through it was other people pursuing their creativity. It was other people pursuing something that they loved and sharing that with other people. That's what I like doing. I like sharing artists that I love. I like sharing things that inspire me because it's exciting that we live in an age and in an era where that's possible. And I'm so grateful that I exist right now because I can do that. And that's essentially what this is. This is me talking about stuff that I love, stuff that I'm thinking about, and all that stuff. But really, it's almost a way for me to think when it comes to art and when it comes to creating something or creating a film or a script or a book or whatever, right? Creating anything. It almost becomes your duty to put the idea that popped into your head into fruition because you don't know who that could impact, right? And not only is it fulfilling for you as an artist or as a creative, but it literally feeds into this thing of like, yes, be creative, do something creative, and other people get inspired by your creativity. Maybe they will, who knows? And they create something. And it's the cycle of creation, and you get so many amazing inspired things from it. And we've been seeing that a lot in media in general recently, and that's very, very, very exciting. But we've been seeing it in music, we've been seeing it in the way people make their art nowadays. Now, I need you to understand how amazing it is that we live in an age where so many artists, even if it's by a need to, market yourself or whatever, are sharing their work. Because if they didn't do that, I wouldn't be pursuing animation. I wouldn't be an artist. I wouldn't have learned everything that I've learned if other people didn't share their knowledge. And it's honestly, honestly something that's jaw dropping to me because it feels like, yes, a lot of people are depressed right now, but we need to kind of see something that's in front of us. As depressing as the world is, and it is right now, there's no excuse for it. It's depressing. It's fucked. I don't it's really irritating, honestly, and I'd rather call it irritating than depressing or, you know, infuriating because that creates a reaction in my mind which makes it all feel hopeless. And that's a promise I made to myself that I won't be without hope anymore, really. And it's really exciting to live in this era right now because we get to see artists in all their stages of learning, which is not something that happened before. Maybe after they died, you'd see their sketchbooks or whatever, but now you see artists at all their stages of growth, which brings me to the reflection point because I was looking at a bunch of art that I made when I was maybe 9 or 10, and it's genuinely insane to me because the improvement from then to now, obviously, it's massive, but the fact that I felt so inspired to create back then, which has led me to my career choice now, which has led to path of choices that have led me to get, like, it has given me no choice but to pursue my passion because I literally will not do anything else. I'm not kidding. There's no choice for me in this other than I will pursue my passion no matter what happens. And I will keep believing in it. Because if I don't believe in myself, who the fuck will? Besides God, of course. God always believes in you. But really, if I'm talking about God or whatever, I want to make it clear that I didn't trust God until I found trust in myself. So, like, take what you will from that. But really, it was trusting myself and believing in myself. And that led to me doing the newsletter last year, which is still going, by the way. I'm still updating it. And it is such a wonderful outlet to just share a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't share otherwise because I don't like Twitter. And I'm still calling it Twitter. Fuck X, thank you. I don't like Instagram. I don't like social media. I literally have a different phone so that I don't need to get notifications on the other number that I have. But I have to have social media because, you need it as an artist in this day and age. But with stuff like that, blogs, newsletters, videos like this, I get to actually create stuff. I get to have access to creation. And that's really exciting for me, obviously. That should be exciting for you too. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Bring attention to the fact that we are living in an era where everything is so accessible that you can create. And as much as I fucking hate AI, right? And I do hate AI, I don't support it at all. It goes to show that people are genuinely desperate for something real. Because in it's already been I don't know how many years, but artists have been fighting back against AI for years since it came out. But people are getting tired of slop. The audiences, the people who are living their lives, they deserve better than AI slop, please. So it's your responsibility to create if you're an artist. Hi. If you're an artist, create, do something. Even if it's shitty for you, it's not going to be shitty for someone else. I promise you. Because when I look at the art that got me an internship before I was even out of high school, I look at it and I cringe internally. But it was good enough to get an internship. It was good enough to get me into a system and into a place where I was like, you know what? I think I have a better idea than this, but I was able to learn about it. So just take the risk, by the way, when it comes to sharing your work and everything. And appreciate the fact that we live in an era that allows us to share the work and share things that inspire us. And yes, obviously, you're gonna see a bunch of stuff that's in the news, you're gonna see a bunch of stuff that stresses you out. But overall, I've personally, if I even open Twitter, which I do now once a week maybe, it's all art that I love. I so love it. It's like I see some of the most amazing animators on there just doing it because they want to. And that's what it's all about. Like do whatever the fuck you want with your life, and that's why you're living, honestly. And that's a promise that I made to myself as well. Like, girl, you gotta start living. You really have to start living. Because for a long time, I was just like, what's the point in all this, right? And it's it's going back to that experience I had with depression, which I didn't think I would get out of, by the way. It felt awful. But when I was in that state, the questions I would ask myself would be like, what's even the point of this? Right? But for some reason, there would be something in me that would tell me, you have to still create. You have to still make things. You have to practice. You have to get good at what you want to make so you can actually get what you want across to people who need it. And that was something in me that I didn't know. Like, the only thing that would get me out of bed would be like, I need to draw. I need to practice. 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 Literally, that would be it. That would be it. I need to practice. I need to draw. I need to do this. For some reason, that was like a non negotiable thing for me at the time. Even when I was depressed, even when I literally couldn't get out of bed, even when I couldn't take a shower, even when I couldn't do anything to maintain myself, I had a sketchbook, I had pieces of paper next to me to be like, you gotta fucking draw. And that still carries on today. No matter what happens, I draw every day. Because not only is it a skill for me, it's something that has sustained me like water sustains plants when they need to grow, or fruit sustains anybody, really, or food, genuinely. And honestly speaking, when it comes to food and stuff like that, for me, art and drawing and all this stuff is food. And it's, and when I think about that, it's really interesting because I didn't have this association before. It's this thing that's nourishing to me on a creative level. I'm still saying eat your fucking food. I'm just saying on a creative level, when you find your voice, your vision for what you want to create, or even if you feel like I just want to put something on the page, it nourishes you. And I didn't think that would like I'm not fucking with you. That's what kept me going for 7 years when I felt like I could not go on anymore. And I want to talk about that because I feel like it's so important. I want to talk about the impact that you as a person in any capacity creating has on, even it's meaningful if it even impacts one person, which is you. If it impacts you, it matters. If it makes you happy, it matters. And that's what it was that got me through a lot of that. And then I don't remember what the moment was that led me to be like, I want to get out of this. But it was similar to something like, I think I think I want to actually get good at what I do. Genuinely get good at what I do, and I want to do it with joy. I don't want to do it depressed. I don't want to do it sad. You show up. Show up every single day no matter how you're feeling, but when I'm talking to anybody, when I'm writing my newsletter, when I'm creating something, even if it's a more depressing scene or a more serious scene, I don't want to do it coming from a place of sadness because then I'm not in the state to actually do it. So when I go back to the question that I used to ask then, it would be, what is the point of this? Because you don't know the ending. You don't know where life is gonna go. I didn't know I would be here. And the answer to that is, for me personally, it could be different for you, is it's less about knowing, it's more about trusting yourself, and it's more about asking the questions and moving with curiosity instead of doubt, which sounds very insane to me, but it all needs to exist in this like messy as hell paradox to actually make sense. Doubt needs to exist so faith can exist. Doubt in yourself needs to exist so you can have faith in yourself. So you can have references for yourself when you look back and you're like, oh my god, yeah, I fucking did that. Yeah, I did that. It's like, for me, it would be something like, yeah, I made an art book in like a fucking week. Or I launched a newsletter, which I kept up with monthly for ages, which had art and writing and short stories for a long time, and now I've changed the schedule, but I did that for a long time. I got through 2 semesters of shit that I had no interest in whatsoever in any capacity, and no matter how many times I was close to literally crashing out in the middle of class, I persevered, I got through it, and I am done. I finished it. That's my reference. Yours can be different. It could be the smallest thing. I remember my first references to have faith to combat the doubt that I had, because faith can't exist without doubt the same way night can't exist without day, is something like, I think it was yeah, but I got up today. Or I got up and I showered because back then it was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. I got up today, I showered today. I got up today and I tried something new. Even if it was like a single french fry with a new sauce or something, I tried something new. And slowly but surely, it would turn into something that would be like, okay, it's gonna keep me going until I have the strength, which I ended up building over that time, to actually push myself out of that state, which is really important. And it's something that I want to tell you about, which is the entire point of this video. Media is important, obviously, but media and art specifically is important because when you create it, it impacts you, it nourishes you. Like, it would be for me at that time, it would be something like, okay, I may not have done anything else today, but I drew, I practiced, I got up, I went out. Even if it was for like 2 minutes, I went out, I got up. And little by little, it got to a point where I was like, okay, I trust myself now. I really trust myself. And it's creating those things for yourself that you can reference in the future. For example, I have this little notebook that I carry that when I observe something that makes me feel energized or makes me feel good, I write it down. So that when I don't feel too good or I feel a little off, I look at that and I'm just like, okay, that can make me feel good. Let me try that. Or let me try this other thing. It's important that you trust yourself so you can actually create the things that you want to create. And that's essentially what I want to leave this with because we are in a time where that exists, where we can actually do that. So it's very exciting for me, obviously. But I am so excited to create alongside so many interesting and wonderful, talented, and skilled artists, creators, musicians, whoever. I'm so excited to see where this will go. I'm so excited to see what's going to come out of artists in the next decade, maybe. And speaking of a decade, Hamilton reached it's 10 years, which is insane because I had a very very big Hamilton phase for a while. It was great because, everybody told me to shut the fuck up because I wouldn't stop singing You'll Be Back. But it was that goes to show the impact of art, of creation, of media, and I feel like people don't talk about it enough. It's about your life is about you. And if you're an artist, it's your responsibility to create the stuff that comes into your head. Not for anybody else, but for you. Because if it impacts one person and it impacts you, you're that one person, it matters. So that's what I'll leave you with. Anyway, goodbye.